Six- and seven-figure CEOs build their purpose-driven legacy businesses through proven branding, marketing, and sales strategies so that they don't have to sacrifice their income and happiness for their mission. Thanks for watching the Life School Masterclass show. Join our Facebook group community of badass mission-driven entrepreneurs, and come back next week same place and time for our upcoming show.
Hello, beautiful purpose-driven entrepreneurs. I hope you're doing well. Happy. Today's Thursday here in New York. I think everywhere else in the world. I'm so happy to be back with you today with another amazing conversation, another amazing guest, and a beautiful topic, which is so near and dear to my heart. And I just don't know anyone better than to share a lot of amazing nuggets and wisdom with us than Jocelyn Chong. She's a new acquaintance in my world, but we've kind of, been building a really meaningful relationship. And Jocelyn definitely knows the art of networking and connecting people and bringing people together. And that is definitely a superpower that she has. So I'm so glad I have her on my show today. Jocelyn, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me to join you on this show.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. And let's start with a little bit of an introduction or a little bit of a backstory. I usually ask my guests, what are some of the most meaningful moments in your journey that led you to the work you're doing today?
A couple key ones that really led me to my work today. The first one is the unexpected redundancy that my company imposed on everyone that really actually taught me so much about that moment, because I was actually tying my whole self-worth to my career. And when that happened, for the first time in my life, I felt stuck. I was like, OMG, it was my whole life. And I knew no more than just my career, because I didn't really created a social life that's, amazing outside of work. And at the time I was still dating someone, so I didn't have kids to worry about. And I was like, wow, that taught me something about how much I had devoted my time, my energy, my resources to one company, and it could just happen within 90 days and they shut down their whole division because of a regulatory requirement. And you know what? You have to reassess where I was at the time. So I had to pull out um, myself from that emotional position, mental position, and to really think, what do I want to do purposefully in my life now? Because I dedicated 22 years of my life to banking and finance. And that was the moment that I thought. And the very key moment was when I was swimming, because for me, when I swim, I get a lot of fresh inspiration. And I was like, you know what? There were so many moments in my life that I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I have a master's actually specializing in entrepreneurial management. I taught a lot of entrepreneurs because I issue a license for them to run their business, and then I coach them in a program to get them up to 500,000 for the first stage and then multiple seven figures. And I thought I could do that for my own business. Why wouldn't I do that? And that's how this journey of entrepreneurship came about for me.
Wow. I love what you share, and I can so relate with having an identity crisis when we have attached our identity to our work. I went through that journey myself when I detached from what I was doing to building my own purpose-driven company, just like yourself, and realizing that, wait a minute, I can build my own company the way that I want. And I also knew I had a lot of experience, but at that beginning, it was a little challenging. So I love that you mentioned that you have your way to kind of bring in inspiration and to listen in within, right? What is that next step that you need to take? and what is the inner work that we have to do to kind of start detaching, the things that we have achieved, or the family, or the people we've been serving, or our work, or whatever else. So we don't define ourselves by our roles and the things we do out there in society, but we define it, within. And that's definitely a journey of self-growth and personal development, which is always ongoing. Wouldn't you agree? I always find that that's always ongoing.
It's daily. It's daily. And I think it's good because we then remain very relevant and fresh when we do that inner work on a daily basis. And the higher we go, the bigger audience we reach out to, which means our responsibility needs to be really, really clear, and that we continue to stay in a place of integrity when we deliver our services, when we create content, when we help someone else, because that is important. Yeah. I have witnessed in my own career that a lot of people, when they reach a certain point, they don't care about people anymore. They are not kind anymore. The way they speak to others is like, you are secondary because I'm far more superior than you. And then I would see them fall from that very, very high ground, just like that. So I think it's really important to be so consciously doing that inner work, like you said, and make it a lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle. And stay so grounded to earth that we never lose sight of, we are just dust. To dust we come, to dust we returned. And so we got to remain very, very grounded in that sense.
What a beautiful message. And it's so, it's so easy once you get a little bit of influence and you get, you meet the goals you want, to kind of operate on that ego, right? I always find that there's always a balance, and it's always there, but, depends how you kind of put it to sleep in a good way. Let the ego drive you for the passion, the mission, the impact, but don't let it, operate in that level where it's driving your life and you're operating out of superiority, because that really means insecurity. I mean, the most secure people, are always the most humble. And I've had a lot of blessings to meet so many people along my journey. So I think it's really great role modeling there with that as well. Awesome. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I would love to focus on intentional networking, building relationships. I also feel it's an art, but it's an art that we can learn and practice over time. Because sometimes when we say something is an art, it's like, okay, I'm not an artist. That's not my that's not my talent. It could be something else, but we all know how important this is in our businesses, right? I always say the human capital, it's just like anything that we put in the bank. Investing in human relationships and human capital, especially if you have a service and you are a service provider. In a nutshell, we're in the human business. We're in the building human relationship business. So the art of intentional networking is something that we constantly got to practice. And I think eventually, I can't wait to hear your perspective on it. We kind of make it our own, right? We just kind of, it aligns with our personality, and it gets easier over time to really, be open and build these beautiful relationships, which will, come back to us in many other ways, and grow in the business. So I'd love to hear your perspective on the art of intentional networking.
I have been really blessed the last 3 years. I had so much of new networks I connected with globally. I mean, across 6 continents. That really started with experiencing the relationships that I've developed over time that wasn't in alignment with my core values, my vision, and who I am. And so when I did that inner work, I realized that I had to be really intentional with who I want to connect with. We are the average of the 5 people we spend time with, right? That has been such a powerful saying. But to practice that, we've got to be very intentional to also pull away from people that doesn't drive us to build that genuine relationship. So networking is another level beyond the powerful, genuine relationship. Because you and I know the first time we had a conversation, there was so many areas that was just like a tick box. And I remember so vividly, you're like, yep, we had been part of this community before. Our career journey is along the same pathway. We witnessed the same thing as leaders. And then, we also had that vision to really drive a purposeful life and to support as many people as we can to leave a powerful impact on this world. So when we had that conversation, we already prior to that set such clear intentions of who we want to network, and that we send that out to the universe to go, that's the vibration that I'm looking for. And then that connection came. You were introduced into my world. And because that intention was set so clearly, we are connected. And so I want to talk about that spiritual aspect of setting clear intention when we want to network with someone. And then once we do that, we have that conversation. We meet. You live in Brooklyn. I live in Melbourne, Australia. Like, there is millions of people. How did we connect in a way through Zoom? And our conversations are so aligned. Our hearts are centered. We are grounded. You are from Albanian background. I'm Malaysian born. And we live in a country that we choose at this point in time. And so there was so much alignment. That meant that, our connection was very divinely appointed. And I want to leave our audience this thought. Have you ever taken time out to clearly set intention of who you want to be in contact with? What sort of connections that you want to partner with, collaborate with? Because we can't do business alone as an entrepreneur. We have our expertise. We would know so much about a particular topic, but we still want to connect with people that we can share knowledge, exchange high quality referrals with, teach our resources, support one another. There is room for everyone. Everyone. When we access our own gifts and talents, and you mentioned earlier, Alona, individual superpowers, when we access that, we are at the core part of our soul's purpose. And so by doing that, setting that intention, that is the first part that will connect us with the right network. And then externally, be visible, show up, have conversation with someone. When we have that invitation, yes, Alona, of course, I'll connect with you. And then subsequent to that connection is, I know who you're looking for, who you want to interview in your circle. And so taking those notes down and then sending those referrals to you. And likewise, you send, connections to me this week about being a speaker in a summit. So it's that exchange, it's that dance. And it happens, over time because we continue to expand our network, and that, we will think, all right, yeah, Alona, she's going to be the right person that I'm going to make an introduction with. And it's easy to make an introduction when, we know and we trust their core values, and we can send them their way and they are responsive. Like within 24 hours, those connections are made. So those are fundamentals in terms of intentional networking. And then, over time is to make sure that we continue to stay in touch and continue to share knowledge, continue to keep each other in the space of, what else can I support you with? What else in your world? What's your biggest, scariest goal in 2023 that I can champion you with? Last year, you released a book, right? And so sharing that book with my connections and share with them and say, hey, I've got a friend and she's in Brooklyn and she's just released her own book. Have you got a chance to purchase a copy? That is how we continue to flourish together.
Ooh, you said so many things there. I'm just trying to kind of grab the everything is amazing, right? Because you shared our personal networking experience, which is so powerful. But sometimes we think as people or entrepreneurs that it's like, I don't know what I could do for someone else, right? So we're always in that mindset of, what is it that you can do for me? But that shift in mindset, I love that you said get the clarity first. You clarify first, what is your focus? What are you focusing on intentionally in your phase and stage of life and business? Because what you're looking for at a certain phase and stage is not necessarily what you will be looking for as you evolve and grow in the journey. But I think you having that clarity, who are the right people that you want to track, once you understand what are your impact goals, the things that you're trying to accomplish in the world, then it's so much easier. The universe helps, but also your actions help, right? Because you train yourself to focus and find the right people that are going to fit that bigger goal that you are accomplishing, let's say. So I think it always beautifully starts with that. And that's, something that you have also just described, Jocelyn. And you're an amazing, beautiful connector, because you jumped on it right away, right? A lot of times we say that, like we say, well, if I can introduce you to someone, but I don't think we have the clarity a lot of times to do that. So it kind of falls on the wayside. But when you are very clear, and you're in alignment with the other person, and you're always picking up information that is going to be helpful in you supporting them, and then, getting that information as leverage to help you in supporting them, you have started the process of the law of reciprocity, right? I mean, we always will help people that helped us. So, and it becomes so natural and organic. And over time, it really does develop into a beautiful relationship. And that's how trust is built, because we talk about trust so often. And how do we build trust with our audience, with the relationships we are growing along the journey, right? So, and that's how it is. Trust is built through action, right? Now I see that you are a woman of your word, and vice versa. So we're not just saying things, but we're also putting tangible results and action behind, our whatever is it that we say. And trust, I don't know anything that builds trust faster than action. What's your
It just
perspective?
endorses. It really does endorses that trust, because trust is earned and experienced over time. And when you see that action taking place and results that come up from that action is exactly what we are looking for, then we know there is a good alignment.
Mm, absolutely. And these are the most beautiful connections, because obviously there's someone that you trust that has connected you to someone else. So that leverage of trust, it's unmatched, right? I mean, you could start a new conversation with someone, and just like we did, we made that initial point of contact, right? But when someone introduces you as an entrepreneur, it's like, you already have an open door, let's say, to building another relationship with someone else. So leveraging this in your life and business is powerful. I mean, it's really what makes the difference between impact, income, and everything else that you are doing. I always say the size of your impact and income is always going to be related to the size of your relationships or your network. And we should always be intentionally needing to grow our network, or wanting to, not needing to, because need to is like something we have to do, but we get to do this. So it's
And
not.
also want to add to that was another very recent example. So earlier this week, you sent me a connection and made an introduction. So the girl then booked a time with me. So we had that networking call, caught up yesterday. Again, we shared the same values. From there, she shared with me a couple books for entrepreneurs who are making 9 figures. And then I shared with her 2 connections because she's looking for someone specific in the human designed space. So you can see that compounding effect, right? Because whoever I sent to someone, I had also purchased their services or built relationship with them by doing something, collaborating something. Already there is not just that name that I'm passing on to you, but there is depth to who I offer that connection with. And so now she's got that connection because she has been asking the universe who is best to connect with on human design. So that was how compounding growth means and looked like. And that is powerful. That is powerful. And that's
That's
what we
great.
need to do more and more as
Yeah.
female entrepreneurs. It doesn't take time. It was only a 30-minute conversation. But now my network knows that they're going to get someone who's interested. And you know what? Is you can put 50,000 on Facebook ads, and that kind of connection will not come as quickly. And I had so many people last year who invested a lot of money into ads, and sometimes, that kind of leads doesn't come so quickly. So it's through all this connection, through keeping each other in touch, um, being on each other's community, knowing where each other is progressing, and you don't need to be there every single day, once or twice a week, 2-3 minutes, have a follow up. And it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to take time out of your very busy schedule.
No, I think it just takes intention, and everything with intentionality, honestly, takes really little time, but you know exactly what you're doing, so it's fast. I think half the time we spend on like figuring out, how to go about certain things, and we spend a lot of times here rather than doing the damn thing. So when we do it, we're like, oh, that was easy. So my whole brand has really been built on purpose-driven action, because once you are clear and purposeful, you're already working on the highest level impact activities that are going to make the biggest difference in your business. You have to be a slave to your business and work hard, right? So we just want to work smart and really understand those activities that are going to make that impact. And definitely doing this is one of those very high level activities, which I just make it my impact goals and mission for every year that I set my goals for the new year. And that's it. The name of the game is always about collaboration. So collaborating with other human beings, it's always the best thing. And I love that you share the perspective of ads, because I say the same thing. Even though we're throwing money at a funnel or a way, I guess, that people come to know you, you still get to build a beautiful relationship with them. There's still a journey. It's not as, sometimes we want, fast results, right? We want someone to know us and then buy our stuff. But that's just not how it works, because there's so many other things in between. So doing it organically, it's honestly how businesses were built before social media, right? I mean, what were we doing before social media? Belly to belly. You got to, get to know people locally, right? And of course your reach was not as big, because you focused more on quality, because you couldn't reach so many people. But now I think we're a little spoiled and we kind of get lost sometimes in how do you actually build a meaningful relationship. So focus on quality versus quantity. Go back to basics. I think basics are basics for a reason, and fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason. But sometimes we lose track of it because there's so much distraction and so many new ways to do it, so many new strategies, so many new things. But at the core of it is always human connection and human, heart to heart. So however way we're doing it, if we're automating it, technology is advancing, the core of it is always the same thing. You need to build trust. Right? And that is it.
Spot on. And
Trust.
that's where it's such a powerful way of us, continuously go back to the core, like you've mentioned. And as long as we stick to that core, do that work of clarity, it takes you 5 minutes to work out, the core values, who they want to connect with, and then do that audit. Are those people that I'm in connection with the exact people that I wrote down in my journal? And when we get that clarity, the rest will gradually form and work itself out.
Absolutely. We'll all align eventually. Everything else will be a byproduct, but that's the basis, that's the core. Jocelyn, thank you so much for everything you shared. We do have to wrap up the show. Of course, I'm going to have you back, because we could talk about so many things and so many angles towards things and going deeper into these topics that I think are very, very valuable for all of us. I mean, we're all in the similar journey. We're all entrepreneurs, right? So we kind of, I think, align with a lot of things that you shared. As a final thing at the end of the show, I usually ask my guests to share a final message with our audience from what their school of life has taught them, and also where is it that people can continue the journey with you? Where can they find you?
First thing, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really enjoyed this delicious conversation because it's this type of delicious conversation that I cannot cannot wait to wake up and do my day, because it's fun, it's exciting, and it's just full body excitement. I wanted to leave our audience with this. This year, take the time to love yourself deeper, because the more you love yourself, the easier you show up to this world and share out of a place of authenticity. So spend time nurturing who you are, getting to know who you are, getting to do that inner work, and the rest will flow out of that inner work that you do. Where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and come and check out my website where you can just access and download free resources at your disposal and work them through, whether they are master classes that you can get from my website, or you can work through, a couple of key topics that I have, download chapters of the book that I've written, just to get an insight into something that you can take away. It's for you. It's a gift there awaiting for you to receive. So those are the places that you can find me and connect deeper.
Beautiful message, and also so many great resources that you have created over time to serve people. I think that's really, at the end of the day, the why we create what we create as purpose-driven entrepreneurs, to really serve people through our work. So definitely go check out Jocelyn's website. And Jocelyn, you want to have her in your network. I promise you. She's a great connector, and she might just connect you to the other sides of the world, and really have connected with that key player or key person, key relationship that you might need where you are in your phase and stage, that might move you forward faster. So definitely do that with Jocelyn. Jocelyn, thank you so much for another beautiful conversation. I will see you somewhere else in our journey. And thanks again for everything that you had shared with us so far.
You're amazing.
Thank you so much. And I will see you, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, with another show and another amazing guest and conversation. Have a beautiful rest of your day.